Now, supposedly, this Cyrusher Kommoda 2.0 e-bike is capable of traveling over 60 miles on a single charge. I'm going to be putting that to the test today, but in addition to that, I'm going to be bringing this solar generator with me to see if I can charge this on the go and get even more distance out of it. And just to be able to get back, I may have to end up using this power station because definitely risking it on the range here. The sun is warming things up right now, but I'm starting the day off with it below freezing, which means the battery itself is also below freezing. So let's see if Cyrusher is lying or if this can really go that distance. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but this is admittedly a little wobbly, right around 20 miles an hour for some reason. Once I'm above that, it kind of smooths out a little bit, but you might be able to see the camera wobbling back and forth. I'm already 3.5 miles in, but so far the max speed that I've been able to reach is about 25.6 miles an hour according to the speedometer. So I just hit the 10-mile mark, and the only thing so far is that slight wobbliness, but it's really not that bad anymore. One of the things I'm noticing right now is I'm already at about 50%, and I've only gone 18 miles. That's not good at all to see if this can go 60 miles as advertised. Now, I am pretty much only using the throttle, except right now I'm pedaling because I can't use the throttle and there is no cruise control option. So that's another downside. It would be really nice if there was a cruise control option in order to give my hand a break and still be able to go max speed. I can only go about 18 miles an hour while pedaling unless I really crank down hard. Now, officially, the Kommoda 2.0 has 68 miles of range. Right now, I'm sitting at 55%, and I've gone 19.4 miles. So it's not looking good for the battery in terms of how long it's going to take me. I feel like I should be getting better mileage out of this. But so far, the suspension here in the middle and the front, everything has been really comfortable. The seat is also, I don't know if it's like a gel, but it's very soft. Usually I'm already getting saddle sore by this point. So very comfortable bike to ride. It also has these extra large grips, so it's much more comfortable on my hands. When I have just a straight tube, I find that my hands begin to go numb. So if you're leaning really far forward, you tend to put too much pressure in your hands. It can make your hands go numb. Just makes it really comfortable. But this has a 960 watt-hour battery. The battery inside of this DJI Power 500 is just over 500 watt-hours. So I should be able to get about a 50% charge from the DJI into this battery here. And just to be able to get back, I may have to end up using this power station because definitely risking it on the range here. Now, I think one of the reasons why I've only been able to get between 24 and 26 miles per hour is that I'm limited to the 750 watt motor that's here in the rear hub. It's not that you necessarily need a larger motor, but if you want to go a little bit faster or have a little bit more power going up hills, you're definitely going to want something like 1,000 watts instead of 750 watts. But for my wife, who already says that she's going to be stealing this bike from me, 750 watts is definitely more in her range of what she's comfortable with. This rear cargo rack is included, and there are also other accessories for a front basket and other things you can get, so definitely check out those accessories. But everything you see here is stock. This is all what normally comes with the bike, except for the phone holder here. I added that myself, so for what you pay, it's a very complete bike and very comfortable to ride. Now, coming into town, I did have the wind to my back, but I was going uphill, and now heading back, I'm going to be going downhill with the wind in my face. We'll just have to see how far this goes, but I am getting that wobble in the front, so let's go ahead and go to Dave's bike shop and see if they can figure this out. Not necessarily looking that great at 26%, and I've only gone about 25 miles. I don't know that I'm going to make it home. Now, if you want to put this into self-walk mode, all you do is press and hold the down button for about 4 seconds, and then it starts pushing itself. Now, so far everything's been completely stock, as I previously mentioned, and what they found at Dave's bike shop is that the derailleur was misaligned, and I could tell when I was cycling that as I was going through the different gears that some of them were catching and getting hung up. For example, when I wanted to be in first gear, it was actually in second gear. So I'm glad they were able to find that, and just by having it up on the stand and spinning the tires, what we could see is that the tires are not perfectly balanced, but that's more with the rim and tire relation. The part of the rubber on the tire that sits inside the rim is not 100% set perfectly, and that's what's creating just a tiny bit of wobble. So they said that's very normal in tires. I've experienced that with other bikes. That's not necessarily a fault of Cyrusher. That's very common to find with bikes. There's not really anything you can do about it unless you completely deflate the tire and then slowly re-inflate it getting that rubber set into the rim just exactly perfectly, which is pretty hard to do. But this does charge while riding it as far as I've tested, so we are gonna see if I can get it down to 0% and charge it while riding it and have enough power going into the battery compared to what I'm pulling out of it. Remember, I'm pretty much just using the throttle, not doing hardly any pedaling at all. I did this all at Dave's bike shop in Idaho Falls. That's who I usually go to. It was only 15 bucks and it took them like 5 minutes. So I highly recommend Dave's bike shop. We're at 7% and only 27 miles, not looking good. Well, I'm holding the throttle down as far as it'll go. I'm at 6% battery and I'm getting 7.9 miles per hour. I've got 27.5 miles on the odometer, so definitely losing a lot of power as I go along here. All right, well, she's not moving really at all anymore. It's fluctuating between 0 and 2%. So I was only able to get 28 miles using the throttle the whole time. So that's like 35–40% of the advertised range. They must really mean pedal assist with you pedaling on the highest gear with the pedal assist at the lowest gear. It's definitely not what I expected. Now this is at 99%. Get this plugged in and back on the road, see if this will charge while biking. Things started off really good. I got right up to 22% without any issue at all. And I was holding at about 14 miles an hour just using the throttle. So I was going a little bit faster. I'm another couple miles down the road. The screen still says I'm at 22%. But I'm hovering on a slight downhill at 10.8 miles per hour. Not looking good. You can see by this wind turbine that I'm going straight into the wind, and that wind turbine is spinning pretty good right now. Got a really strong headwind. Well, finally made it back. This is at now 20%. It fluctuates a lot between 10 and 20%. And it looks like we went about 39 miles according to that. Wow, we basically used half of the battery capacity off of this DJI Power 500, still charging at 142 watts. One major thing though is that since I took it to the shop and they made these slight adjustments to everything, I have not felt the wobble like it did on the way into town. So that could just be that it's getting broken in more, but either way it was a much less bumpier ride coming back. Sadly, the Kommoda 2.0 from Cyrusher didn't go nearly as far as I wanted it to. Basically, we're looking at 25 miles of just using the throttle, and then at that point it started losing quite a bit of power. I do think you're gonna get a lot more range if you're doing the pedal assist, but you're gonna be putting in a lot more work of your own to get that far. Despite the range not being close to what I wanted it to be, this was a very, very comfortable bike to ride. The suspension feels great, the seat feels great, the handles feel great. I've tested a lot of e-bikes and many of them have really cheap handles that twist and move on their own, so you really don't get good support in your palms, and that makes a big difference when you're on long rides. The Kommoda 2.0 handles were very comfortable and stayed in place the whole time. So if you want the extra range, I'd recommend getting an extra battery. It's always a good idea to have one of those. You just strap it onto the back like I put my power station, swap it out when you really need it, and you're gonna have full power for a much more range. I think it's definitely a good idea to get that extra battery. Other than that, I just wish it went further. If you want to find the Kommoda 2.0, I'll put the links down below. Thanks for watching. See you on the next video.